Hello, everyone. Welcome to our first event in our Family Focus series this spring. We hope you can come to many of our scheduled events throughout the next several weeks and meet members of our faculty and staff who are here to support you and your students. Our Family Focus series is specific content to our HMC family members to get a better idea of the resources at MUD and for them to learn ways to support their students. My name is Erin McNabb. I'm an Associate Director in the Office of Alumni and Parent Relations and proud member of the class of 2006. I thank you for attending today's event. This talk is being recorded and will be shared on the Family Focus website next week. Please feel free to type your questions in the Q&A box, not into chat, and we will try to get through as many questions as we can after the brief presentation. We'll also try to send helpful links as we answer questions through the chat, so you can open both of those windows now if you want to. So now to briefly introduce our event, the Office of Academic Affairs is devoted to the academic well-being and success of our talented students. The office supports students in their academic pursuits and links them with academic and personal resources on campus while fostering strong ties between faculty and students. Marianne Dillette was going to join us this morning, but due to a major windstorm, there are power issues all over Claremont. So we have Liz and Amy. Take it away.
Hi, I'll go first. My name is Amy Bibbins. I'm the Associate Dean for Academic Resources and Student Success, and I'm part of the Division of Student Affairs at Harvey Med. So welcome. We're glad to have all of you here.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Connolly. I'm the Assistant Dean for Academic Affairs. I'm also the Program Director for Summer Programs, and I also teach in the Business Department. Great. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So you may have heard that our core curriculum is in a bit of a transition phase, which just means that each of our cohorts that are on campus are under a different bit of core curriculum. And this can be rather confusing, but what I encourage you to do is have your students log on to Portal and they can run their degree audit, and that will tell them exactly what courses they need to do for the core curriculum. So. Great. Okay. I think we missed one slide there, Amy. Okay, so the objective of the core curriculum at MUD is to give our students an opportunity to sample all the disciplines in the college. Someone might come in thinking that they definitely want to do computer science and then find out that actually they have a passion for chemistry, for example. It's a great way of sampling all of our different departments and getting a nice foundation for all these different fields. It is not about weeding students out. It is a nice communal experience where everybody goes to the core at the same time, and our goal is to get everyone to succeed. First year students, most of their courses are going to be devoted to the core. They'll have some, we'll get into the classes they're in, they will have a little bit of activity, but mostly it's about the core. When they get into their second year, they do have a little bit of core left, but they're going to have a lot more time to take classes in their major, take classes in the HSA, and to start doing some electives as well. Okay, so for those of us who have the parents here who have first year students, your students are taking this slate of courses, which you'll see is 14.5 credits. This takes up almost their entire schedule. They may have an elective, they may not. It's totally okay if they have not taken an elective at this point. Thank you. And what they have to look forward to is this coming fall, they will have just 1 or 2 core courses. And then that means they have a lot more time in their schedule to begin pursuing their courses in their major, take electives, and to do things that are not tech courses as well. Okay, so for those of you who have sophomores or higher, they're going to be, like I said, they're going to be doing a lot more courses in their major, and you're going to see that GPAs tend to rise. One thing I forgot to mention is that for our first year students, this semester is the first semester where their classes are all going to be graded. So their fall semester, all of our core classes were on a credit, no credit basis. which means it doesn't impact their GPA. But now in this semester, their classes are all going to receive letter grades, especially in the core. Okay. Juniors at this point, they will have declared a major and they're beginning to prepare for their capstone project, which we're going to get into on the next slide. They're working on their HSA requirements. We'll slide on that in a moment as well. And they're planning to pass graduation. And again, this is where our curriculum is going through a bit of a transition. So there's different credits that are required for graduation depending on the class. So Frosh, they're going to need 120 credits by the end to graduate. Sophomores are 124, and juniors and seniors are still under the older thing of 125. Okay, so you may have heard about the HSA requirements on campus. So essentially, aside from completing the courses in the major, they also have to complete 10 courses in humanities, social sciences, and the arts. And among those 10 courses, 4 of them have to be in one discipline. That's called the concentration requirement. 5 of them have to be in different fields. This is the distribution requirement. 1 of them has to be a writing intensive, and at least 4 of them have to be taught by Harvey Mudd faculty. Those are considered the on-campus requirements. And sorry, I guess that each of your students, if you're a sophomore, they have an HSA advisor. For our first years, they are in HSA 10 right now, and in that professor will end up being their HSA advisor. Okay. Choosing a major, I'm sure that's on the minds of a lot of our students, especially if they're first and second years. So each major has a set of required courses. You can go on to our Harvey Mudd catalog and I'll say exactly which courses are required for each of the majors. There are electives that are within the field, but they have a little bit of choice there on, they can choose classes that are interesting to them. And then each major has a capstone experience. So it depends on the major. That's either going to be clinic or it's going to be research, and we'll get into that in the next slide. And sometimes students find that our majors that we offer don't quite fit the niche that they're excited about. And so in those cases, they can meet with myself or Dean Delat, and we can help them come up with an individual program of studies or an off-campus major. Okay, so the capstone experience. So each department is a little different. So for computer science engineering, it's always going to be clinic. For math and physics, you have the option to either do clinic or do research. And for biology, it's mostly research, but people can do clinic as well. And if you do research, your capstone is going to be a thesis. Okay, I'll pass it off to Dean Bibbins.
So I'm going to talk a little bit now about some of the resources and support opportunities for students. First off, academic advising. So students, as Dean Connolly mentioned before, students have a first year advisor, and then once they declare a major, they're given a major advisor. And so those are the faculty that they speak with in terms of selecting courses, making sure that they're on the right pathway in the major. So in addition to their major advisor, they can speak with other professors in that department. They can work with the registrar. There's a lot of information in our academic catalog, or they could meet with the Associate or Assistant Dean of Academic Affairs or myself to talk about advising. And then we have a similar structure on the HSA side. As Dean Connolly mentioned, students have an HSA advisor that they work with to plan out their HSA path to approve the courses that will be included in their concentration and all of that. Sorry about that. We have lots of other additional resources for academic support on campus. Professors are one of your students' best resources. They can speak with any professor, whether they have them as an advisor or as a professor, or if there's someone that they're interested in the research that the professor's doing, that's a great resource, a great reason to go talk to professors. So I really encourage your students to get to know their professors and to meet with them and go to office hours. As we've discussed, they have first year advisors, major advisors, HSA advisors. There's also programs, 2 programs, the Academic Excellence Program, which is a student-run tutoring program primarily for core classes. And it's based on a lot of group work. So students will come together with student tutors or leaders and work on homework together, collaborate with each other. It's a great program, and it's a great way for students to get support, especially in those first core classes. Grooters are students that are graders and tutors for a class, and they are another source of support. So they will often have office hours for the class that they're working with, and students can go to them for support. The Writing Center is a great resource, especially for RIT 1 and HSA 10, which are the initial writing classes that students take in their first year. We have peer writing mentors that work with students and can work with them from the very beginning of the phase, the ideation, through outlining, through writing. They can work with them on the whole process. And again, it's a great resource, and I would strongly encourage your students to make use of that. The proctors and the mentors are part of our student leadership team on campus, and they're through the residential life program. So the proctors, there are 1 or 2 proctors in every residence hall. And then the mentors work with, we usually have, I think, 3 or 4 per residence hall, and they work with groups starting at orientation and then work with them throughout the first year. So they're upper class year students that are, again, a great resource for first years to reach out if they're struggling with a class, if they are having some personal concerns, if they don't know where to go, it's a great place to start. And then finally, study groups. We always recommend that students work together in groups. So much of what we do at MUD is collaborative, and we really want to encourage students to learn how to work with each other and to learn to teach each other and learn from each other. It's a great resource for students, and it's a great way to get through the rigorous work here. So how can you help? You can remind your students that academic challenge is a part of learning. The reason that they're here is to learn. Help them to think back about their goals and why they're at MUD in the first place. CORE is a really tough program, and not everyone will exceed at everything. I mean, part of the philosophy there is that it's breadth, and we want students to have exposure to all of these different disciplines, but not every area is going to be everyone's jam. So reminding students that they are not defined by their grades, and that they're here to learn and to explore. Our aim is to foster a community of learning and to help students develop networks and to help each other learn and explore these areas. And also remind your students to access the available resources. There are lots of opportunities to work together. There are lots of opportunities to seek help. So encourage them to do that. And I'm realizing, Liz, that I think I skipped another slide. Whoops, sorry, I apologize. Is that it? There we go. So one other source of academic support is the academic dean's team, which consists of Dean Delatt, Dean Connolly, and myself. And we work with students. We're a good starting point for students who have academic concerns. And we work with them to talk about their progress towards graduation. We talk to students about course load and what the appropriate number of courses are for them. We work with students on academic or personal concerns. We help connect them to resources. If they need tutoring, working with the Academic Excellence Program. We work with them on study strategies and time management. If a student is struggling with a personal issue, if they're sick or if there's a family concern, we can also work with them and help them navigate managing their academics with those other concerns. We often have students who struggle sometimes with communicating with faculty, and so we work with them on how to write emails and how to make the best use of office hours. We work with students on dropping classes or withdrawing and looking at their course selection and their major requirements. So a wide range of topics that we can help support students on. And we will list we have an email address that all 3 of us receive, and we'll show that at the end. And that's the best way to get in touch with all of us if your students want to make an appointment. All right, so sorry for the rearranging there. Okay, so summer, we get a lot of questions from students and families about summer and what students should do. And the short answer is there's no one thing. There's a lot of opportunities, and for many students, some time to decompress and relax is great, especially after the first year, and that is perfectly fine. There's no reason to think that one summer is going to make or break, you know, your experience here at Mudd. And so sometimes exactly what you need is time with family and friends and to decompress. We do have a summer session that Dean Connolly is going to speak about in just a minute. And so that's a great opportunity for students to take some classes here at Mudd. Students can work. Work can be an hourly job at home. It can be summer research, which is offered both at Mudd and at other colleges, or an internship. There are lots and lots of opportunities. If a student's interested in an internship or a summer research opportunity, they could work with our Office for Career Services to explore what some of those options might be. I believe we also have a website that lists summer research opportunities. So students, there are lots of resources for them to explore those different options. And for some students, travel is an option. I think, you know, with everything going on in the world, sometimes right now that may not be the best option, but the message here is just that there are lots of opportunities, lots of options, and no one thing is right for everyone. So we encourage your student to do what they feel is best for themselves. And I'm going to turn this over to Dean Connolly to talk some more about summer session.
Okay, so we have an exciting slate of courses for this summer. We have courses in computer science, engineering, a number of HSA courses, math, and even physics. The classes are going to range between 3 and 6 weeks, and some of them begin right away on May 23rd, and others will begin June 13th. We are looking to have a slate that's a combination of some classes will be in person, some classes will be online, and your students should look out. There'll be an announcement coming out in the next several weeks that has the list of courses in the schedule. Okay, and with that, I think we're ready to take some questions. There is our email address as well. So
Thank you, guys.